Good evening, folks. I'm going to move the focus a little bit onto my experiences, and we're going to go to a grade of football in Scotland that's now defunct. It was called uh, the Scottish Junior FA. Now, that's not age related. That is a grade of football that was out with the normal system. So you couldn't get promoted from it into the Scottish League. That's changed now, and the systems have been realigned, and all the teams have been put into various sections, and they can get promotion now. So myself and my friend Mike, again, who you'll know, we've not been for several years, but we started going about 2009, 2008 to some of these little non-league grounds. We call them non-league. They used to be junior grounds, but we call them non-league now. And I've put together some brief descriptions of experiences that I had when I went to these games, because, as you know, I put great store in only really recommending things that I've been to. That's how it works, and that's how it should be, I think. So I've got a top 12 of experiences. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a countdown. We're going to do 12 to 7, and then in the next video we'll do 6 down to 1. And it's all these grounds that I've been to, and it's a bit of a twilight zone, really. Things happen that you don't normally see, and unless you go and visit them, you don't see them. There are some similarities, but the football that's played and the things that happen are very much of a bygone era. So we're going to start off with number 12, and that's Mary Hill. Now, that's in the centre of Glasgow. It's a wonderful stadium with step terracing all around. It's got an old rickety stand that looks like it could fall down at any time, and a very, very uncared for muddy pitch. Just up the road is the police station that they used to film Taggart in the 80s, and it looks very much like the ground's not been cared for since then. And this is going to be a common theme, really nice people, muddy pitch, terrible football, awful stuff, never to return, but at least I've been there. Anyway, number 11, Renfrew. Renfrew were playing Tayport, a team from Dundee way. And there's a tournament called the Scottish Junior Cup, which is a bit like the FA Vars. So all of the junior teams are in it, 160 odd teams. And you get teams from the west of Scotland, Glasgow, Renfrewshire, that kind of way, against teams from the east and the north. Renfrew were the home team. Very downtrodden, the stadium's terrible. Sort of iron fencing at the end, corrugated fencing, outside toilets like you used to get in the 70s, that kind of thing. And Tayport were from Dundee, quite affluent. We got a contact with John Brown, who was the commercial manager at Tayport at the time, sort of 10, 11 years ago. And he agreed to tell us whether the game was on or not, because we were travelling up there. The game was on. We went to the game. Tayport won 2-1. John sought me out, got a picture. Everyone's very happy. A little bit of a violent game, but all forgotten in the end. That's number 11. 10, Bowness United, or Boriston United to give them the proper name. Very industrial, the heartland, just outside Edinburgh. They're junior powerhouses. They've got a big stand at the ground, built in the 1920s. And they were very much the powerhouses in the east of the country, with the 3 leagues, the east, the west and the north. Number 9, Lark Hall Thistle. Very much like Renfrew, very industrial. They played at a place called Gasworks Park, and I'm not sure the gas had been turned off, to be honest with you, when we got there. They were at home to a team affectionately known as Nitton. That's a Newton Grange Star from the east, quite posh. Game ended up as a draw, I think. It was getting the Junior Cup. And we were accosted at the end of the game by a Newton Grange Star supporter who travelled and wanted to know how the FNL did you beat Pollock. And we had to, Pollock is another team, a good sign, and we had to explain to him that we were neutrals. And he said, yeah, I know you're neutrals, but how did you beat Pollock? Well, we didn't, because we're neutrals. And that was another game of questionable quality, lots of horrible tackles, and a thoroughly good day out with not many red cards or yellow cards at all. So we move on to number 8. Now, Pollock, as just mentioned in the previous game, they've got a very smart ground in Pollock Shores, which is an affluent area of Glasgow. Very business-like setup. They have people outside the ground selling programs. Then inside the ground, you can visit the social club and you can buy a pie or a burger or something. You can buy programs. They do all sorts. They sell match tickets. They sell lottery cards. And the ground itself is very reminiscent of Kendal Town, if you've ever been there. It's almost like not to decry Kendal, but it's like a more nicely looked after version of Kendal Town. And it's a nice place to go. Everyone likes Pollock, everyone knows Pollock, and they're a good side. Number 7, this is a final one in this section. Newmains United. Now they were in the bottom division in the West, and they played a junior cup tie, which is this 160 team competition that I mentioned, against Bankery St Turner, who were one of the top sides in the north. They were from Royal Deeside, very posh. And Newmains United played a ground that's just an open field. And several weeks before the scheduled date of the cup tie, the ground was cordoned off because they found E. coli in the pitch. But the cup tie was passed to continue, and Bankery turned up in all white, Leeds of the 1970s style, white shirts, white shorts, white socks, polished boots, and you have to have, in the early rounds, you have to have your own linesman. There's no neutral linesman, there's just a neutral referee. And the Bankery linesman turned up with a nice quilted hat and fancy posh formal blazer and posh shoes and Sunday best trousers. And all the linesmen do at that level is judge ball in and out of play, and the referee has to judge offsides, which is quite difficult. So the Bankery linesman resplendent in all his ceremonial and Sunday gear, and his team in all white. They went 1-0 down to their much inferior opponents, and eventually they dragged through and won 3-1. So Bankery St Turner lived to fight another day. Because of the pitch issues, needless to say, we didn't have a burger or anything. And that's the 12-7 countdown of my favourite Scottish Junior League football grounds.